Blumenfeld here in Washington. She's a Middle East analyst and a senior fellow at Johns Hopkins School for Advanced International Studies. Laura, welcome to the program. What do you make of this two-week deadline, if you will, by Donald Trump? Why 2 weeks? Why even talk about this two-week time frame?
Well, I think that 2 weeks is Donald Trump's favorite phrase for just let's take a pause. And it's a really important one. What we've been watching is basically a staring contest between Iran's supreme leader and U.S.'s leader, Donald Trump. And some say that today, by announcing the 2-week pause, he's blinking. Trump is blinking. I would say it's more like squinting because he's scrutinizing some of the details of what would be involved if U.S. took direct military offensive action. Number one, I think he wants to really dig down and figure out, is a military strike necessary or is there an opportunity for diplomacy? Number two, I think he wants to make sure that it's going to be a quick win and not a forever war, which of course he promised voters he would not involve the U.S. directly in. And number three, he wants to make sure that it will be a decisive strike. Some of these bunker buster bombs that would be deployed have never been used before. Yes, they've been tested, but he wants to know if he's in it to win.
Laura, just up until a few weeks ago, Donald Trump was talking about diplomacy. He was talking about trying to make a great deal with the great people of Iran, always emphasizing the people of Iran, that they're smart, they're intelligent, and he's ready to make a deal. Then all of a sudden something shifted. Is it your sense that Trump perhaps is being dragged into this war by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, as we both know has been itching to attack Iran for a long time now?
Well, it's a great question, and hovering over both the battlefield in Iran and in Israel, and also the diplomatic negotiating table, is this question of, is the military threat credible from the United States? Does Trump actually want to go to war? And is this just a manipulation game? On the one hand, yes, some people are saying that Netanyahu is pulling strings. On the other hand, others would argue that the Iranians are just stringing Donald Trump along. They're tapping him along in his language. I think what the commander-in-chief is trying to show here is that he, in fact, is in command. Because if you have a slogan that says peace through strength, you have to be willing to show that you're in charge.
Laura, IAEA chief just this week, Rafael Grossi, said it had no evidence, the IAEA had no evidence Iran was building a nuclear weapon. In his words, the IAEA found no proof. How much does this undercut Israel's entire argument for self-defense, saying it had to do this because it was a preemptive strike on Iran?
Well, I think for Donald Trump, you know, just as recently as today, he said that Iran was weeks away. So whether, you know, the truth, the only truth that matters is the truth that Donald Trump accepts. And I think that he's just trying to figure out, you know, in the Middle East, you have to know when to strike and when to stop. So is it time to stop the military, the kinetic action, and jump into diplomatic? I think that is probably what Donald Trump would favor, and frankly, what the Israelis would prefer as well. I don't think they ever expected to be able to eliminate, to completely dismantle and destroy Iran's nuclear program through military means. It's more like you might see it in kind of a tough mafia kind of scenario where you've got negotiations where you drag the guy into the back of the room, you rough him up a little bit, and then bring him back to the table to negotiate again. If you want to skip over the mafia metaphor, maybe I'll just refer to Secretary of State Kissinger, who once said that you can't win at the negotiating table what hasn't been earned on the battlefield. So the hope is, at least from the Israeli side, and perhaps the American as well, is that what failed last time through diplomacy will succeed this time.
All right, Laura, thank you very much.